It's time. Morels, getting the fever. About to leave Vancouver Island, 2024 morel season. That feeling of setting off on another adventure and not knowing where you're gonna end up. Now we do have a plan for the beginning of the season. If you watched our 2022 season, you may have seen the episode where we picked puffball mushrooms. We have a little existing camp in that area, and there happens to be a burn that's harvestable this spring. And it's only about 10 kilometers down the road from our camp. So it's a great spot to go to on our first day here. By tonight or maybe tomorrow, we'll be on the first burn. Maybe about 10 hours of travel, not 4 days. And so we'll be there in no time, and I can't wait to get picking. Here's a little morel that's been growing in my backyard for about 3 weeks. You can see it's blown out and it has released its spores. They grow here every year in my backyard, and this one is full of worms, little wormholes. Now this is at sea level, so I'm just going to leave that there. Okay, so we've got our wood stove room bundled in here for mushroom drying, extra poly, all of our lids, water jugs, baskets, 2 different sizes. These ones are for selling fresh. These ones here are for picking. Wash totes, fuel, all in the roof rack. In the back of the truck, we've just got 1 dryer this year because we're starting with just 2 of us. The other one is stashed, all the stuff to run that. And we've got a little trick we want to show you later this season in this tote for when we're mobile. Because of the fire situation this year, it's not like 1 or 2 big fires where we're going to go and camp right away. There's more fires than we've ever seen. We need to be mobile this year, and so having a mobile setup in the early season and then our more permanent setup later on once we find some good ground, I think is the way to go.
So many burns, there's like millions of hectares of burns, and some in really good areas. The weather's not too bad, and everything's a little early, but hey, we're gonna give her and see what we can do.
So in here we've got all of our kitchen related gear, extra fans, chainsaw, wood stove. You see there's a bed, and under this bed there's like enough dry goods for at least a month. Quonset in a tote, all the metal flashing, boxes for dried mushrooms, racks, and of course one of my guitars because I've got to write some new music this year. Wanted to show you guys before I take off, I've got my apple tree here that I've been pruning now for quite a long time, and it is blossoming like crazy this year. So yeah, when I get back, this should be all covered in little baby apples. And I've also got 2 more trees back here that are even bigger. This one I've just reset 2 years ago to restructure it. So it has blossoms, and these apples get huge. They get like softball size, but it needs 1 more year. And then this tree is kicking in again. We'll probably get 200 plus apples on this tree and about 400 on the one back there. Whole garden is planted, and I've got all the irrigation set up on the berries back here. So yeah, something to look forward to when we get home. Pretty soon these wheels will be turning.
2024, baby.
Another year, another adventure. Spring is in the air, and for us that means something different than it does for most. For the next 2 months, we will isolate ourselves in the Canadian wilderness to obsessively harvest and document wild morel mushrooms growing on last year's forest fires. See this booth? It's a toll booth. They can take our money again, so many times. Once again, we will take you along with us for the entire season, for better or for worse, until we return home in the summer.
Let's go get some morels, eh?
With so many fires to choose from, we have to keep our options open as the season progresses. Leaving Vancouver Island, we pass through the lower mainland and coastal mountains as we head towards our small existing campsite outside of Chase, BC. Located close to our first target wildfire of the season along Adams Lake, it won't be long before we find our first morels. Welcome to Chase, BC. Nice little town here. We spent quite a bit of time here in the past. Gonna get some gas and supplies, and then we're gonna head into the hills. And pretty soon we'll be near the burn. Switchbacks and washboard. As we're coming up this hill, you can see these plants here that have the white flowers. Those are all Saskatoon berries, also known as service berries. And they're probably one of the most abundant wild berries in this part of BC. So just over these trees here, there was a huge burn about 22 years ago. And Randy harvested that fire and what you were buying and drying as well, right?
Yep.
How many pounds did you dry that year?
I think around 50,000, but we did a lot of fresh too.
Then you switched to just harvesting after that for a while, right?
Yeah, after I got out of here, I went to Bonaparte.
So where were you set up?
Just up the hill here. There's morels that grow right here, though.
Is that a morel right there? I think I see a morel. I see two morels. Yeah, there's two morels right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a good sign for us. 5, 6. They're small, but they're mature. Looks like it's been cold. Yeah, this is where most of them used to grow. First time I came here, I picked some right over there. But now it's a gravel pit. Now this is one of their old mushroom camps. Not the logs, but the rocks here are an old fire pit. Used to be an old fire pit right here. This plant here, very common in this area, grape mullen. Hear all the seeds in there? I'll give you these. Start the season off. Beauty. I'm gonna go look at this big tree. Yep, there's a morel. That one's totally released quite a bit of spore. There's two here that are blown out, just to show you. Spore is fully released, or is mostly released, and they're dry. Dry tops. Okay, so I'm gonna leave those. They'll probably still spread a little bit of spore. There's another one. This one's okay. I'm gonna leave that one too dry. 2. Another one. Stem's still nice and white. And then a nice little score here. This will be my new picking glasses. Look at those. Now, they're not as good as those fungi glasses. So there's gotta be a few more here. I have never picked them by this tree. I just, with how many there were over there, I knew if I find another cottonwood, I should check it out. Okay guys, we're gonna move up the hill to our camp now. This camp, you can actually see us picking puffball mushrooms up here in our 2022 season playlist. Very briefly, we came up here for one afternoon. And it's somewhere that we've come to. I've been coming here for about a decade. Randy's been coming here since the fire happened. So we always come and check it out when we have a chance. That's our mascot right there.
Our drying operation and buying was just past this tree here. So we set up all the, past that log all the way up to here. So right in there was an outhouse.
Okay.
And this guy come racing his kid, didn't make the corner in his pickup, and went over, those trees weren't there then, and he hit the bank here and went flying over there and stopped like 10 feet from the outhouse. And there was a little Vietnamese lady in the outhouse, comes out just terrified.
Oh no. So after seeing those, we have another little spot up the hill that's usually a bit better than there. And it's almost dark here, but I think we have time for a quick run up the hill to check. I had a feeling we'd be walking into morels, so I left the buckets handy here at the back of the truck. Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice still.
Look at that, eh? Ooh.
So you can see this one. This one's starting to blow out, get really mature. See how the stem is like almost as wide as the cap now, and it won't dry very nice. And then this, some cottonwood fluff. So this one as well, you know, that's pretty mature. Yeah, and then these ones here, this is too mature. It's totally turned into like a little hut, witchy cap, whatever you want to call it. It's blown out. Do you see how when we're not in the burn, how clean the stems are? and we're leaving them longer. In the burns, the stems are usually covered in debris unless you're in really nice needle zones. I don't know if it quite classifies as a honker, but it's a nice looking morel. That's usually where I set up my tent here. Nice little birch tree. In the past we've had, you know, larger structures, and here's our old poles. Sometimes we'll reuse these. I plan to get up quite early tomorrow because we have a big day of scouting tomorrow. And if the weather's nice, I'm gonna fly the drone a lot tomorrow. I can see the burn over there. Part of this hillside, right like that. There's a strip of burn and it looks good. It's steep, but it's a great mix of deciduous and coniferous trees. First campfire of the season. Watch how this burns, white pine cone. Good morning. We forgot our coffee filters. We're roughing it this morning. Grounds are right in the cup. That coffee is going to be a little bit chewy. Having your coffee and your breakfast at the same time. We're just nursing the caffeine out of our coffee soup here. It's nearly 7 a.m. We're going to go hit the burn, go scouting today. There's a small percentage of the burn is private properties and band land, which is also private property, and that should be respected. Most of the fire is crown land, which is kind of like public land. Regardless of the name, we're allowed to pick there. There has been some controversy already on this fire. We don't know how many people are here. So all of that we're gonna find out today. Excited to get out there. How you feeling?
It's not easy when we don't have coffee.
You don't want Randy without his coffee, trust me. You had breakfast in the cup, right?
Yeah, no, it was good.
You're coping.
Yeah, I'm coping.
Anyways, let's get the boots strapped up and hit the burn. The burn that we're going to today is along a lake called Adams Lake, and it comes down to Shuswap Lake. And this burn, off the top of my head, I think it's 44,000 hectares, which is, you know, that's like nearly around 100,000 acres. Got lots of ground here. That's 10 times the size of the burn we were camped on last year. I was growing a morel right there. You just ran it over. You're not allowed to pick in parks, so you can see here on the left side there's that green. We're right there, and so we can really only pick on the right side of this road. There's a morel. Look at that beauty. First morel in the burn for the season. There's a couple more. The cedar here make a really nice ground cover mulch, and the morels love it. Here's a couple more. Still a little small, but and you can see when they're growing the cedar, the stems actually stay quite clean. That's one of the benefits of cedars in the burn. Here's a nice one. I see lots of babies. Lots of babies starting. Looks pretty good. Beauty. And here's some more signs. You can see moisture in the ground and liverwort right there. And I see, I don't know, maybe a dozen small morels in front of me. It's looking good. Look at this one.
Nice. Woohoo.
Look at that beauty. Look at that one. What we need to do now, the morels are at this stage in this little flat here. We need to get into southern exposure. I don't want to waste any time. I'm going back to truck. Find that many right away. It's good.
Of the over 40,000 hectares within the burn's perimeter, less than half is actually burnt. This is a good thing because the best morel picking will often be in the areas where the understory has burnt and the majority of the trees have survived.
So there's a big sawmill. You can see the log sort in the lake there. Lots of lumber.
The sort.
Yeah.
This area has a more ideal burn density for morels, particularly where the orange meets the black and where it's half orange and half green. But the steep hills mean that moisture can quickly run off, leaving us short a critical ingredient for abundant morel growth.
So as it is in the mushroom business, we drive up this road. First person we run into is somebody we know from the industry. So we're gonna follow them back out. They were almost out of fuel, so give them some diesel, and now we gotta go to the gas station and refill the tank. We wanted to go down this way, but the logging is just too severe right now. It's very active logging, and it's a narrow road, and it's just not worth the risk. So here's our view from the truck. It's actually a lot worse in person. You can barely see through the dust cloud. Trying to get back into the burn. We've been driving through green for about 10 minutes, and I can see it right ahead. Now we've passed about a dozen cars, different pickers, and 3 mushroom buying depots along the way. So this fire is pretty busy. So we're now on the other side of the big lake, and this side of the burn looks a little different. There's some burn right there, which has just been logged. And then here, you know, this is a lot of Douglas fir. Douglas fir can produce, but the thing with Douglas fir is it likes drier ground, and morels in general like wetter ground. Hey, little roadside scout here. I'm going to go this side. I hear frogs, which means there's a pond over there, and that means there's water. And I see morels. Look at that morel. Beautiful quality. See, as I came up into these Douglas fir, the ground dries out, no mushrooms. Yeah, come down to the water edge in the cedar here. 3 really nice quality ones. Look at those. Perfect. Crossed over a little stream there, and now I'm coming back into the burn. I want to work around this little pond. Not seeing a whole lot yet, but whatever I'm finding is really great quality. These ones are a little more mature. See? I'm gonna leave that one there. It's a little too dirty. A few more. Hear something behind me. I don't know if it's another picker or wildlife. I think it's wildlife. Oh, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. quality on these is phenomenal. Got a set of mallard ducks right there. They're only about 20 feet from me right now. And wow. So here's an example of a mushroom that has dried out. And not in a nice way. All right, I'm gonna leave that. These ones are just fine though. Yeah, some fire cups there, you see? Yeah, they're really nice. Cedar and trembling aspen, cottonwood, those were the only trees I saw producing. All right, we're just cruising down the road a little further and check another spot. And this hillside up here looks interesting. You see that? Orange with deciduous.
Right now we are looking for areas with cedar, aspen, and pine trees that have only partially burnt. We can already tell that this fire is going to be competitive. So this little patch of orange surrounded by green, which is only visible from the drone, catches my attention as somewhere to check later on.
That's a beauty. Look at the quality of that mushroom. And there's boot prints through here. Show you something here. This one we picked yesterday. That's a natural black morel, not burn related. And this one's a burn morel. They're pretty similar. And this one's a little more open and mature. So this one would look even more similar if it had a few more days or a week. From a culinary standpoint, pretty similar. And that's why the tomentosa and the exuberans, the greens and grays, they offer quite a different experience from a culinary point of view. They look different, they have a different texture, different taste. Whereas these two species, burn morel, natural morel, very similar. So a lot of people call these ones naturals and group them in with these, but you can also call them conicas. This is also a burn morel, but it's a little bit younger, and that is just premium. Are these what I think they are? Yeah, look, some half freeze. Look at that. I'm gonna leave them. Oh.
We've come to a section in the far corner of the burn. Unlike many of the hills we've passed by today, this one actually has water drainage with a good amount of soft burn. Seeing water rushing out of the road culverts and down the south-facing slope means that we have to stop and check for early morels. This area is currently being salvage logged, so we're hoping to pick what morels are growing prior to the patch being removed. It's also a chance to pick the hard burn, because we haven't had a rainstorm to cause any ash to splash up onto the mushrooms.
And I'm just skimming. So leaving tons of babies here. Actually getting a fair few here. Beauty. And the dry ratio on that one, it's going to be perfect. Okay, this is a little more exciting. We're getting the black side on this hill here. And I was working my way towards this orange zone here in the needles. As soon as I start to enter it, right on the transition between the black and the orange, there's, you know, more than a dozen babies here. I'm going to leave most of these. Just take a few. And that's good. Look at those. Absolutely perfectly clean. You can still see, even in this clean zone, the stem has all the debris. 1/4 inch. Now you don't have to do that, but once you put a bunch of mushrooms with all that debris into your bucket and your basket, it all gets ground into the gills. And people don't like chewing on sand and dirt. I certainly don't. Also, we like our mushrooms to look uniform. Wow. So I'm doing pretty good in this needle zone here. This is an old logging road, but then it sort of just drops off a cliff this way. Just want to have a look. Yeah, it looks very rocky. Not so promising. So I'm going to use this as the edge between where I came down and here. Just try to be really thorough in this whole zone. And there's a nice clean border to that patch. Even if there is mushrooms in there, they won't be as nice a quality. I mean, that's pretty nice. Good size, super fresh.
Look at that. First time I turned the camera on, and see a couple of little morels. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? And another one right here. Woohoo! There's somebody's footprints right here, and they stepped right on these. Going too, well, somebody picked some right there, so they got those and missed these.
So I've just come down this big hill here, and on this side it drops off, and there's a big ledge and then another ledge further down, and I can hear the creek, a river, a pretty solid river, rushing way down there. But before I go down, I want to finish this zone because I kind of just came down like this. Randy's just up there, so I want to finish this before I go down, and then that way I know I'm being thorough. Yeah. Look how nice this morel looks. It's young. There's spore on it. So it's sporing when it's that small. That's a nice one. I always forget to remind people I'm only filming maybe 10% of what I'm picking. You know, usually I'm having to set up the camera and whatnot, so I can only sacrifice so much time for filming. I do my best. It does cost me money, right? So, yeah. Anyways, hopefully I'm filming enough that you guys are happy. I'm at 3/4 of a bucket right now, which is around 9 pounds. Like that one, that's a beauty. Firm. No worms. See, none of the mushrooms right now have any worm issues. Oh, big morel. There's Randy right through the trees over there. I've just basically met up with him, communicated. I've just finished this, and now I'm on this little skidder road. It's an old skidder road. from logging, who knows how long ago. And now I'm gonna jump down into these ledges and bigger trees. See how that's doing. Look at that, how that root grew around that rock. That's pretty cool. Every person that we've ran into has said this fire's really dry. It's not true. That's not what's keeping the mushrooms from popping in large amounts. It needs heat, actually, surprisingly, and I'll show you. See, if this was dry, it wouldn't have that color. It would be white, or like, you know, when I dig into it, that's all moisture. It would be dust if it was truly dry, and I've picked mushrooms in way drier ground than this. Went to -5 4 nights ago here, according to the weather report. So, oh, here, Randy. He's yelling. You okay? I'm guessing you dropped your bucket or something, but let me know if you're hurt, okay?
No, I skidded and I spilled my whole bucket.
Better a spilled bucket than an injury. Look at the quality of those beauties. And they are speckled through this whole upper section. And then the ledge I really want to check is down in there. How's it going, eh? Can't complain about a full bucket. Beautiful country. Rugged and steep, but beautiful.
Noise?
He's a machine. Just turned 70. Look at him go. You can't be stopped. Too stubborn. Hey, what's that? No!
A few more here. Okay. Beautiful.
Well, that's a certified honker right there. Back at the truck here. Managed to fill my bucket right up to the top. That's all I can really ask for on the first day, right? Can't complain. A lot of people here though, and this ground is tough. That was a lot of elevation.
How big them out?
Between 20 and 24 pounds, somewhere there. Pretty much every mushroom is A grade there. Look at that nice one.
Morels, eh?
Up this way, there's a bit of a band of green here, but then there's a nice orange pocket there and an orange pocket up there. Unfortunately, just down the road, you could see in the drone footage, they are salvage clear cutting that whole section of patch. So we can't go any farther down that road. They blocked it off. You see him up there, feller buncher. So I'm gonna steer clear of that. I've had whole patches that I was letting grow, amazing patches, get taken out right in front of me by those before, but it's just how it goes. There's not a whole lot of organization between these two industries. This is a good spot. Right there is coming straight towards me. Probably gonna take down this forest I just picked. Let's get out of here. Oh yeah, here's the line. Road clearance flagging. He's gonna cut right into where I'm standing. And there's the truck. So I came along the hill about that far. Woo! You finding any mushrooms in there? Keep cruising down this road, keep scouting, and the sun has come out. It's a beautiful day.
After running into quite a few other harvesters, many of whom we know, most people are relatively dissatisfied with the quantity of morels they're seeing on this fire. My thoughts turn to the hidden patch of burn that I spotted earlier, in hopes that nobody else has noticed it. Although it's a small area, a spot like this could be dense with morels, especially if it hasn't been picked.
All right, on this fire, unless we want to just pick a bucket or two a day, our best strategy is to find somewhere that nobody else has been by either out walking them or finding a hidden spot like this. So I need to stay in a line here. As I'm walking through, I'm paying attention to the soil density, tree variety, moisture, all of those things, because it's very likely that the burnt pocket is the same as what's right here. So we have cedar, Douglas fir, birch, aspen, and those are the main varieties. Okay, I think I see it. Oh, look at that. Gyromitra, false morel. Okay, I'm at the burn. A pin. Here's a nice one. No footprints, no signs of people. Nice. Little ones. Yeah, there's some nice ones. Ooh. Oh wow. So it goes very symmetrical too. And then back this way. So it's not a full circle, but it's close. It runs like that. making my way down here and I see a pond, and I've had very nice patches surrounding ponds in the past. Oh yeah, there's some. Look at that beauty. Oh. Look at those beauties. Oh yeah. Okay, so what we're thinking is we'll come back here tomorrow or the next day, give them some time to grow, fresh day. So I'm gonna leave the rest of this pond. There's definitely more mushrooms here though. But I am gonna take one look over this far little hill just to get a viewpoint of the burn before I head back to the truck. I don't want Randy to get too bored over there. I see mushrooms, a bit dry right here, but down there's a needle zone. Edge of the burn over there, but it's, you know, it's pockets, and we'll save that for next time. I've got to pick that beauty. Woo. Very nice. I can't stop. I just can't stop. Oh, this is looking good. This is the best I've seen today. I probably see 50. I'm just gonna take the big ones. I'll leave the rest for next time. Lots of babies. I mean, they're just perfect mushrooms today. Now what I can't show you is the precarious angle I have to put my bucket on to set up this camera every shot on these hills. But I have to walk away. We have stuff to do tonight. I gotta get out of here.
Nice. They're beautiful.
Yeah, they're really nice. Almost 8 p.m. We left at around 7. Now, I didn't film it, but we went to town. We got drinking water, gasoline, fixed our coffee situation. I really want to dry these mushrooms, so I think we're gonna take the dryer out and run that overnight because they're so nice. I just want to get them dried the day we pick them. A few mushrooms in there. So there we go. There's the dryer. Is that moonshine you're drinking?
Mm-hmm.
No, what is it actually?
180 proof. Well, it's only one bottle.
Premium H2O. We're going to weigh up these mushrooms, take a dry ratio on these. Debasket, hit tear. This is why I like using all the same basket. 3.95, 9 pounds. 10.35 and 11.5. It's just over 34 pounds. Now they obviously dried back a little bit in the truck. So 34 pounds on our first day. So you want to load these in? Burn it up! Oh yeah. We'll get up early and then finish drying these mushrooms before we leave. Decent first day. Ran into a friend of ours who's a big mushroom company guy, much bigger than us, and he spent a bunch of money heli scouting this year, so he's got some leads for us. We'll see how that goes. If you're wondering about why there's no bushcraft or big camp setups, we just want to stay mobile right now. If we get to a spot that looks really good, then we will set up a more serious camp. We might have some people joining us later this season, including another YouTuber. Hopefully that works out. At this point, we don't even know where we're going to be by the time they show up, so we'll see. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you did, please like and subscribe. That would be great. If you want to help support us, head over to our online store and get yourself some dried morels or whatever else you want from on there. And please drop a comment below, ask questions. We try to answer them when we're out in the bush. I do my best to do that. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.